Hello class, my name is Addison Nadwani and my video is about the cross-cultural exchange between anime and the West. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this idea of cross-cultural exchange, it is when ideas, beliefs, and practices get interwoven between different cultures and creates an appreciation and exposure for said cultures. This can be seen in the presence of anime in the West after its introduction in the early 1960s. Anime is a specific type of animation that derives from Japan and is known for its distinctive characteristics that set it apart from other types of animation from around the world. With this in mind, characters are often depicted in an exaggerated fashion, with large expressive eyes and a colorful color palette. Dictionary.com informs that anime is a style of animation originating in Japan that is characterized by stark, colorful graphics depicting vibrant characters and action-filled plots, often with fantastic or futuristic themes. When it comes to the actual content, anime definitely differs from Western animation. Anime is known for its mature themes and delivery. Although there are many genres within the realm of anime, from romance to sci-fi to slice of life, anime often is more open about sensitive topics such as self-harm, suicide, sexuality, and overcoming grief, just to name a few. For example, there was a new anime released in 2025 called Topoki's Original Sin, and it's about an alien who comes to Earth to spread happiness when he encounters a 10-year-old girl who is being severely bullied. The anime follows this alien as he attempts to use time travel to stop this little girl from killing herself. This just goes to show that anime is willing to dabble in topics that Western animation tends to steer clear from, which once again is one of the key distinctions between Western animation and anime. Moving on, why did I choose this topic? Well, anime was a way for me to connect with the people around me. I started watching anime in 6th grade right before the pandemic. Before watching anime, I didn't really have any friends because I was so shy and scared to talk to people. However, one of my online friends put me onto a popular anime called One Piece, and from there I began to watch more and more anime. Anime allowed me to come out of my shell and talk to people about mutual interests. I began to go up to people at school when I saw they were repping the anime merch, and from there I was able to build relationships and have a great middle school experience. This continued throughout the duration of my schooling and even up to this day. Anime allowed me and countless other people to make many connections with people from all around the world through social media. My friends and I, we recently went to one of the biggest conventions in North America called MegaCon, where we were able to meet so many new people who share the same interests and develop lasting friendships. My goal for this video is to inform anyone who is interested in anime or animation in general about the history of this cross-cultural exchange so they can develop a sense of appreciation for it. With this in mind, the question I'm trying to answer, which is what were the main factors that led to the cross-cultural exchange between anime and the West, will hopefully be covered through this video. Alright, now we're going to move on to the very beginning of the cross-cultural exchange. Of course, we have to start with Astro Boy. Astro Boy is known as the very first anime to become popularized in the US. Osamu Tezuka, the creator of Astro Boy, drew inspiration from Disney's animation when animating the series. As you can see from the clip from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs from 1937, the characters have very fluid, expressive movements that can be seen in the next clip with Astro Boy. As you can see, Tezuka was heavily inspired by the motion animated Disney characters possessed during this period. Astro Boy in turn became a worldwide phenomenon and introduced anime to many people in the Western Hemisphere. Astro Boy revolutionized anime and opened the door to many more mature themes in anime, such as existentialism and ethics. Many of the anime were released after Astro Boy, such as Gundam or Cowboy Bebop, contained science fiction themes found in Astro Boy. From there, many exchanges between cultures were able to blossom. For example, the music within Cowboy Bebop was created by Yoko Kanno and her band Seatbelts. The music created for this anime focused on a diverse array of genres, incorporating blues, electronics, rock, and jazz, most of which stemmed from Western music style. However, if we step back a moment to World War II, we find ourselves in a bit of a conflict. Anime was limited only to Japan during this period. Although it was not popular before World War II, the film Momotaro Sacred Sailors skyrocketed in popularity because it was a propaganda film intending to make the Japanese develop hope during times of war. It was actually believed to be destroyed by U.S. occupation troops. However, a negative copy of the film was found in Sokiko's Ofona warehouse in 1983 and was re-released in 1984. As anime began to gain popularity, U.S. occupation troops began to take a notice of the oftentimes pornographic nature of many of the animes and strictly prohibited any explicitly sexual anime and manga. Consequently, during the post-war period, there was a surge of pornographic anime, and many of these anime depicted violence. This in turn gave anime an understandably negative reputation in the West that lasted for almost 50 years. In fact, one of the most popular erotic films was called 1001 Nights. It was actually written by Osamu Tezuka, the creator of Astro Boy, which I thought was a really cool circle moment. Moving back a bit to the future, we're going to talk about an animator and filmmaker many of you guys probably are familiar with, Hayao Miyazaki. Hayao Miyazaki is one of the creators of Studio Ghibli, which produced many popular films such as Howl's Moving Castle and My Neighbor Totoro. His film, Miyazaki of the Valley of the Wind, sparked a demand for socially conscious anime. Due to its stand against environmental destruction, Western countries had a negative backlash, which created a temporary ban in some European countries and an alteration of the plot in the American release. This caused Miyazaki to enforce a no alteration rule for his future releases. Many of the films created by Studio Ghibli were influenced by landscapes and architecture found in European countries. For example, Howl's Moving Castle is based off a town in France called Colmar, while Kiki's Delivery Service was based off Visby, Sweden. Most of the films created by Studio Ghibli were created to raise awareness about the problems existing in our world. For example, Miyazaki's partner, Takahata, created the film Grave of Fireflies, which is an anti-war film that talks about the devastating human impact of war on civilizations and shows how isolation and failure to seek comfort from society can lead to devastation. Continuing on, anime has had a very influential impact on animated films and shows in the West. For example, the popular anime Castlevania, which was adapted by the video game from Netflix in 2017, is oftentimes regarded as one of the great modern horror animes. However, in reality, this series is not technically an anime, given it was created by the American Powerhouse Animation Studio. However, it is regarded as an anime because of its distinctive art style and mature themes that are often seen in anime. Many people are even under the impression that it was created by a Japanese studio. However, it is stated that this is not the case. Another example of Western films taking inspiration from anime is in Kill Bill Volume 1 during O-Ren Ishii's backstory. O-Ren Ishii is a half-Japanese, half-Chinese Yakuza leader, and Tarantino, the director of Kill Bill, decided to honor her heritage and give her backstory in a Japanese animated style. He recruited the animation studio Production IG, which is the renowned Japanese studio that produced Ghost in the Shell, to animate. One way that the West has greatly influenced anime is with the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The author of this anime, Hirohiko Akari, took inspiration from Western music, European high fashion, and cinema to create a truly remarkable series. For instance, almost every one of the characters and their stands are named after Western musicians and songs. Some examples of these characters are AC/DC, Foo Fighters, Killer Queen, Love Deluxe, Sex Pistols, aka Sex Pistols, and Kiss, just to name a few. The seventh part of this anime, Steel Ball Run, is also set in the late 1800s America, as characters compete in a transcontinental horse race. Akari took inspiration from many old Western films, such as the 1975 movie Bite the Bullet, as well as the real-life 1976 Great American Horse Race. Anime has had a great impact on other media as well, though. For example, the popular video game Fortnite has released many anime-themed skins, such as the My Hero Academia collection from 2022. Another way anime has been portrayed in media is when companies are trying to market their products in a certain light. For example, during the 2012 Gucci Flora Gorgeous Gardenia campaign, the company created commercials depicting Miley Cyrus as an anime character and an anime-inspired dream to create a surreal, blissful vibe for their product. Many YouTubers such as Moist Critical and Slushy Noobs have done reviews on anime, which have popularized it even more. Additionally, anime has had an impact on Western music and fashion. The Lolita style, which is a popular street style in Japan, has blown up in the West because it is seen in many shoujo anime, which are romance and slice-of-life anime directed at teenage girls. Many designer brands have also collaborated with anime. For example, there was a collaboration between Sailor Moon and Jimmy Choo in 2023, and then once again in 2024 that excited many anime fans in the West. Many Westerners also listen to anime intros or songs featured in various animes. All of this information I mentioned is important because it allows people such as yourself to develop a sense of appreciation for the history of this exchange of culture. By understanding the history, we can see how anime has shaped global media and entertainment throughout the years. On this note, after presenting my presentation in class, Professor Capetta came up with a great question. Why did anime gain such popularity in 2022? Well, after doing some additional research, I discovered that there were a couple different reasons for this. First of all, due to the pandemic, many people were quarantined in their houses and a streaming demand dramatically increased. Anime blew up on social media, and as mentioned earlier, popular YouTubers and TikTokers began sharing anime content with their fans, which rapidly increased the streams of anime on websites like Crunchyroll and Funimation. One of the other reasons I found that people were seeking comfort in such an emotionally difficult time. As mentioned earlier, anime offers a wide range of genres, including some pretty heavy ones, so people were able to use anime as an outlet for their struggling mental health during such a rough period. In regards to my research process, I started by looking at tertiary sources such as Credo Reference, which allowed me to get a general idea of what I was researching and a basic understanding of my main topics. From there, I was able to go to secondary sources such as EBSCO for a little less broad topics. Eventually, I was able to make my way to JSTOR, which was great for researching very specific, narrow ideas. Overall, I had a great time researching this project, and I learned some very interesting things that I hope you guys found interesting as well. Thank you for listening.